Hello and welcome to Good for a Change, something podcast where we attempt to combat
roll the opening and then I'm going to start. Oh, hello there, podcast fans. Jarrod here, just interrupting the opening music to tell you that this is the last episode of Good for a Change for the season. We will be back soon, but until then, enjoy this last episode. Now, on with the music. Hello, welcome to Good for a Change. This is a podcast where we aim to combat the awful everyday news you hear with stories that will make you smile. I'm Jarrod, and with me over there is Hollie.
Hello, Hollie.
And with me over there is Sean.
Hello.
How are we?
Great.
Good. You excited?
Yeah.
Yep.
I am. Are you excited?
You look more excited than all of us, Jarrod.
There was a lot of flailing.
He's bouncing.
There was a lot of flailing.
Just bouncing on the spot. Oh, it's so visual.
It's because I'm so excited. I'm so excited to talk about my story. I'm so excited to talk about my story. Because I teased it last week and I've been sitting on it for a whole week.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
Remember I said if you like chips, you're going to like this story?
Yeah, I've been hungry all week.
Well, then let me tell you, my friends, about Brandon Gatkins.
That's a good name.
Who is proof that not all heroes wear capes.
Ooh.
Good on you, Brandon.
Brandon has been travelling around Melbourne searching for the answer to that age-old question, what constitutes a minimum chips?
Oh, yes.
At a fish and chip shop.
Oh, this is crucial research.
My question is this.
Yes.
Why
Are you
is
familiar
it
with the
called
story?
minimum chips?
Well, that's at the moment what he's trying to sort out, which is what constitutes the minimum chips.
Like,
because you've got a small chips.
Yeah.
This is the minimum chips that's I think profitable. Okay, we can sell you this much and it's still profitable for us to make some money on
But it is like a decent chunk of chips.
it. Yeah.
Because that's the thing, it is. You get a decent chunk of chips with a minimum chips.
Sometimes you don't, though. I've had minimum chips before where it's barely fed anybody, and then you've had minimum chips that's fed 4 people.
That's what Brandon's discussing.
So Brandon travels around recording the price per 100 grams of the chips he orders.
Oh.
So that's how he's testing it. So far he's done 30.
Yeah.
He's got dozens more listed and ready to go. He claims to be guided by 2 questions. How much should minimum chips cost?
Yep.
How much do you think minimum chips should cost, John?
Oh, see, this is tough because I've been out of the country for a long time and not ordering minimum chips.
Yep.
In my head, $4.
Yeah, I
was
was
gonna
going to
say about 3.
$4.50.
Yeah.
So I'd say 3.
Okay, good. That makes room for our pound to Australian dollar, exchange rates.
Yep.
I think.
And also, how many people should minimum chips feed?
2.
2, correct.
Yeah, I think
agree.
2. Yeah, I reckon 2.
I completely agree.
Yep.
Where are we?
Because that two to me makes sense because it's basically you're ordering a fish and chips meal, but you've got the minimum chips because people like different things. So you could get a family pack or something. But if you're just having it means that you can each pick whatever fish or other product you want, but then there's a minimum chips to share.
Yeah.
Well, we generally, me and my parents sometimes will get fish and chips. Minimum chips generally would do 2 of us, and then my dad will. Well, it sort of depends because sometimes I feel like maybe they're not always weighing how much a minimum chips is.
Oh no, totally. It's just it's
just
2
a random.
scoops-ish.
Yeah, because sometimes we'll get it and my dad doesn't eat a lot.
Yeah.
So he'll have a little bit, and sometimes there's not quite enough. Mum and I would feel well, that was good, but not quite enough.
Yeah.
And then other times I'm going back for a second helping after I've eaten.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our fish and chip shop up the road, they used to. It doesn't seem to happen as much anymore. But if you ordered potato cakes, you could just find random stray potato cakes in with your thing.
That happens.
Is that another thing? Is that a fish and chip thing? Is it like a baker's dozen? You order 6. Well, a baker's dozen obviously is 13 bread rolls instead of 12. But is it if you order 4 potato cakes, you get a 5th one for no reason?
Well, a lot of the times they do it because they might feel like one's a little bit small, so they'll chuck in a second one,
right?
To sort of so 2
or if they've
equals 1.
cooked it and it's died down, they're just gonna have to throw it out otherwise, aren't they?
Yeah, true.
So if they're cooking ahead kind of thing, and they've got extra, they might as well give it to someone rather than throw it in the bin.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, according to some of the research that Brandon has done, he's also spoken to a economics expert on it. Apparently, the cost has a little bit to do with the price of fish and the price of potato cakes, where you're actually getting it from, because not all people make them in-house.
Yeah, exactly.
So depending on where they're buying their sort of supplies from,
yeah,
they're obviously going to have to
Like if
charge.
it's fancy potatoes.
Yeah, they're going to have to charge a little bit extra
Yeah.
than they would normally have to.
Also, if it's like if it's a very busy shop, or if it's like a bigger shop, you're going to have to hire more people to work there, which means
Yes,
the profit
you're
margin
right,
is
yeah.
going to...
Exactly
This
right.
is true.
If it's just like a
as
mum
well.
and dad sort of, two people running the ship, but then other times you can go in, there could be like 8 people working in this place.
Someone on the phone, someone doing... Yeah.
Someone on the phone, someone on the fryer, someone on souvlaki's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I think about chips and sizing, I'm always throwing back to Five Guys in the US and the UK, and they, if you get the big tip for Five Guys is don't be deceived by going like, oh, I normally get a large chips from a fast food restaurant. Don't fall for it, because what they do is they put a cup of chips in, even in the small size, and then they put an extra scoop on top of that
Every time.
every time.
yeah.
That's their standard
Smallest,
size.
Yeah.
And also go the Cajun. That's my little tip there. The Cajun fries are very good.
Yes, no, I remember being at Five Guys in England, and Matt and I ended up sharing a bag because there was just way too many, and even then, I don't think we finished them all.
We were accidentally given a large once. We ordered a small and he gave us a large, and he was like, I've made a large by accident, just have them. We were like, sweet. So we had a meal's worth, and then we went to the movies and we had some in the movies, and then we took them home and then recooked them the next day for another meal. So we
My
got
goodness.
3 meals,
3
out
meals
of a
out
large.
of a large chips.
Yeah.
That's nonsense, isn't it?
That's not a minimum chips, that's for sure.
That's not even chips. But what's your favourite thing to eat at a fish and chip shop?
Oh, I'm going to be contentious actually and say that I don't eat fish. So fish and chips is never my favourite meal option.
Yeah.
I'm okay in Australia because I do like a potato cake.
Yep.
But when I'm in the UK, potato cakes aren't a thing over there.
No.
So I'm like, if I'm at Holly's parents' place and they're like, fish and chips,
Chips and
it's
chips.
chips. It's chips and chips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Holly, what's your favourite thing to eat?
I enjoy a good scampi.
Yep.
I like a little scampi meal. But good old chips, to be honest. I love chips.
I love a chip.
Do you know what I enjoy? Cheesy chips.
Cheesy chips.
Cheesy chips.
Wow.
As previously discussed.
It's fair to say. I love a hot dog and batter.
Oh, you're one of those
Frankfurt and
people.
batter, yeah. There's a fish and chip shop up the road from my house. Now, I have had Frankfurts and batter around the world. I had them in England.
Yep.
I've had them in America. I've had them I think I got one in Germany.
Fair enough.
That's a good place to get a sausage.
That's a good place to get a sausage. Nowhere does them as good as the fish and chip shop up the road from my house.
That's so lucky that you live where you live.
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Thank God.
Like, and I told her once, I said to the owner, I said, no one makes a better hot dog and batter than you. And she looked at me and said, okay, bye.
Yeah.
And then I just went, oh, okay, never mind then, and I walked out.
What does minimum mean, though? Like,
Again, I think what I said earlier is that is the minimum amount they can make that's still profitable.
it's such a weird... I don't know why they don't just call it a small.
But it's
Like,
not a
it
small
doesn't
because
make-
small is a separate thing. It's like in the UK though, you get a cone of chips. What's a cone of chips?
It comes in a cone because it used to come in, like,
The
rolled up
cone,
newspaper.
Cone could be any size. I could take a
it's a
traffic
cone.
cone in. That's a cone of chips, isn't
You
it?
should ask for that.
I should definitely take a traffic cone in.
Yeah.
All right, great.
on BYO night.
Yeah.
Remember when 7-Eleven used to do that with
They still do.
Slurpees? They still do.
Yeah,
you can take
people
in whatever bucket
although
device.
now it's a I believe they cut it off at a certain size because some people are taking bathtubs.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Who
Yeah.
would want a bathtub of Slurpee? I mean, I love a Slurpee.
Yeah, me
But too much. 7-Eleven, if you wish to sponsor us with an advertisement about Slurpees, get on to us at goodforachangepodcast@gmail.com.
Thanks, 7-Eleven. Talking about things that are small, I have a story this week about miniature trains.
Oh,
Great.
Yes,
We all
so,
know Sean's feeling on trains.
yeah.
Sean loves trains.
I might sit this one out, guys. Thanks.
So-
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
See you later.
A business owner in New Jersey was looking for a new warehouse.
Yeah.
And he came across a building that he was able to use. And the former owner was like, you can just get rid of whatever's in there. He goes in there. There's the most elaborate tiny train set you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
So there's 1,200 buildings and 100 trains.
Yep.
What?
I saw this. I saw the story. It's real elaborate.
It's very impressive.
Hang on a second. And he was just like, get rid of it.
Yeah, I think
Basically
hadn't
that.
he just like basically abandoned it?
Yeah, he like couldn't afford to like keep going with it, and he was like, whatever. And the guy basically saved it. He's like, I can't rip this out. And it was like basically this guy had built it. He was basically just a passionate hobbyist. He also, so it was like called a museum.
Yeah.
He also had like a lot of American Girl dolls.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
which like is less fun than the trains.
Yep.
A bit weirder. But the guy saved it, and
Wow.
yeah,
And they've now opened it to the public, have they
yeah,
not?
yeah.
That's cool.
Really
okay,
cool.
I'm
Called like Northland
don't like
or
trains,
something?
North-
but like
or,
I'm willing to go with that.
Yeah, something like that.
You know, there used to be many years ago in Echuca, which is where my family holidayed all the time, which is why I like paddle steamers, not steam trains. That they used to have.
God, such a nerd.
Gotta bring it on back to the boats, don't we?
They used to have a little place, I think it was called Gumnut Land, and it was in an old municipal shed or something like that. And it was, again, little, like, train dioramas. But all the houses were, like, they had little gumnut figures. So they weren't people that lived in the town. They were just little gum
gum
nuts
nut
with
people.
googly eyes and things that were
Because-
around the trains.
Alright, that sounds...
At least I'm
creepy.
pretty sure it was that, and it was there.
Yep.
It could be my memory being a bit weird,
Well,
but
potentially.
potentially. Do you know what is a bit weird about this story, though? They've bought this factory because obviously they want to open their own business.
Yeah.
And then they've found this, which is really cool. But at the same time, now I've got to both open this
My
new
business.
museum in
Yeah,
this
and
factory
my
and
business.
find another factory for my actual business, unless
Yeah.
they can run in tandem.
I'm not sure.
Gonna show you a few pictures.
Yep.
If you'd like to see these pictures, jump over onto our Instagram where we put all our visual material on our stories.
But you see how elaborate it is?
Wow.
It's the size of the warehouse. So
What?
apparently he had to expand the basement 5 times
Yeah.
to fit all this up because he was just like doing it for fun.
Yeah.
Wow.
He'd been doing it for years, hadn't he?
Yeah.
Like, something like 15 years.
Yeah,
Oh my
17,
goodness.
15, yeah, around there.
And then he'd just be like, no, I'm done.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm done. Get rid of it.
That's just crazy.
Incredible.
What drives you to get to a point where you're just like, nah, not interested anymore?
I don't know.
It's sort of like, Holly and I own an I think it's an 1896 Singer sewing machine,
Yep.
and we got it because it was going for free on FaceBay on Facebook.
Yeah, someone was like, does anyone need this scrap metal? And we were like, whoa!
And at the time, on the pictures, you couldn't tell that it actually had a machine in it. It just looked like the table. And I thought,
Yeah.
well, even the table's pretty cool. We can put the TV on it or something. For some reason, they'd painted the legs and all the handles, nice brass handles, pink, which was but I thought we can restore that back to black. Went and picked it up for free.
Yep.
And it's this gorgeous, old school Singer sewing machine with a Sphinx pattern on it, not even like the traditional flower ones.
Yeah.
Did some research, found out it was from 1896. In the midst of this research, the original owner drops a message on Facebook and says, oh, thought you might want to know a bit about the history of the sewing machine.
Yep.
To which Holly and I are like, hang on a second, didn't you want to get rid of this for scrap metal?
Yeah.
And then tells this incredibly elaborate story that, like, her grandmother, in the bombing of Southampton during World War II, was evacuated to Southampton Common, and, like, the only thing she took with them was this sewing machine. And when they finally moved into their house, which was miles down the road, this is a new house, because their old house probably didn't exist anymore, they walked it all the way to this new town, which was, like, probably, like, 10 miles down the road. Walked it. And I just put it in the boot of the car, and it was incredibly heavy.
And yet this girl's just giving it away.
This
For scrap
family
metal.
heirloom.
Why does this link into giving up on something that's
Why would you have something for so long
get
that
it,
is
yeah.
Oh,
a
something
traditional
that's real-
family
something you've
heirloom,
had
and
for a
you
long
just go
time.
like,
Yeah.
I'm just going to give it away?
Yeah.
Same
I
with
was like,
Where's the
did
relevance?
they build that?
It was the miniature trains that were in the drawers when we
Yeah,
opened it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I miniature trains is something that I feel like if I had the time and the money, I could really
get into
do
it.
well.
Yeah.
Like I feel like, especially we're at your parents' place at the moment, Sean. They've got this big sprawling backyard.
Yep.
This big beautiful lake in the middle
Yep.
of their backyard. I feel like I could get like a real train system, like going
Oh,
around.
you're
the
talking
entire
about like
house.
not like tiny trains. You're talking about like the ones that you can sit on and ride on.
Not even that. No,
Oh,
I'm talking about like the tiny trains.
Tom Hanks or someone like that have that in their backyard.
Quite potentially. I know.
Well, it was a big Walt Disney thing.
Or it was
Walt Disney did it.
Robert Downey Jr. or like someone in that like
Someone in that
genre
sort
of celebrity.
has one. I know someone who
Oh, isn't it Dustin Hoffman? Doesn't Dustin Hoffman have like a It was a recent thing where they recently like came out. They were on the front cover of like model railway, model railway. I don't know what it is. Modern railwaylers. We're gonna call it.
We'll call it that. That's fine. Are you having a stroke?
Can you guys say modern railway?
No, I know that someone who works for Disney or might have worked for Disney, I saw online once, had one around his house to the point where it like went like he said at one point he can put something on it like a timer.
Yep.
And he clicked a button again. It was half an hour
Whoa.
to go around his house.
Whoa.
It's Rod Stewart.
That's who it was.
He spent 23 years making it.
Yep.
And it's 100-foot model of an American city in the 1940s. And he books out hotel rooms for it so that he can keep building it when he's on tour.
What a champ.
What a great like.
And that's great.
This is.
Look how happy. That's one of the best pictures I've ever seen in my life. We'll save that. We'll put it on the Instagram for you.
I think what's appealing about it is I know a lot of people like this, and I'm one of them. I like miniature things.
Yeah, me too.
I like scaled down things.
Yeah.
There's something, I guess, like coming in from a theatre background, you know, we make little scale models of our shows before we like build the sets for them. And it's really cool when you've got these little miniature ones, and even like toy paper theatres and things are like that.
Yeah.
And then there's just something about the world in a smaller scale that's fun.
I like watching on like the Instagram Discover page. It'll come up with like people building model landscapes, and it's very satisfying to like when they make lakes and things. And they like put the swirls of the water.
Epoxy,
Oh, gets me through the day.
Yeah, there's something really nice about it. So I could picture it being a hobby that we all.
Yeah.
If I was Rod Stewart.
Yeah. Well, you got to spend your money on something, don't you?
Yeah.
That's it. He's got enough of it.
Might as
I
well
can't
build
think of
it.
a Rod Stewart song.
I was going to say it's not unusual, and then I realised that that's Tom Jones.
Tom
so,
Jones.
yeah. I think Hollie's now Googling Rod Stewart song titles to see.
I mean, for
for
the thing I was going to say, it's not really worth looking it up.
It's okay. I'm just Googling 37 Rod Stewart jokes.
Okay, great. Well, while you Google that, Sean, would you like to tell us your story?
Yeah, I would love to tell you this story. And you know what? Honestly, it relates a little bit.
None of these are appropriate.
Okay, great.
So obviously miniature trains run on tracks.
Yep.
There is about to be a roller coaster on a cruise ship.
Oh, he's taking it back to boats.
Oh yeah, I'm going there.
Yep.
This is the world's first roller coaster on a cruise liner.
I am all about that.
It is...
A cruise ship's already moving.
Yeah, this is the big thing. It's like it was deemed for a while impossible.
Yep.
But it's an engineering challenge because a traditional roller coaster, the way a traditional roller coaster works is you have a chain lift that then, or whatever kind of lift system, which is usually quite noisy, pulling the roller coaster car to a certain point, and then gravity pulls it the rest of the way.
Yeah.
That obviously becomes an issue when you're, 1, on the very top of a ship, 2, the ship is moving, 3, the ship is moving like potentially in a sideways, upways, who knows motion. Like it's not really probably a suitable environment for a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Then, a European company started developing a new type of roller coaster car that was self-powered. And it's like electric powered, so it's really quiet. This was a big issue though. I thought like if the roller coasters making a whole lot of like clackety 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 sounds, everyone's sleeping in the cabins. They're gonna be like, that's gonna be uncomfortable. So this car self-propels itself. And now it's not really like a crazy track. It goes around one of the funnels and things. It doesn't have a very massive drop, those kind of things.
Yeah.
But what they're banking on being like one of the selling points of it is that it has a boost button.
Oh,
It can
okay.
accelerate very quickly. So you can hit the boost button at whatever point you want during the track. So it might be when you're like whipping around a corner. It might be when you're dropping down something. It might be you can get a feeling of weightlessness if you go over the top and then hit it.
Yep.
And each car can individually boost
I
as you go.
do love that.
Do you only get one shot at the boost?
No, I don't know. I don't know if it's a
Because
continual
surely
thing.
if there's like 2 cars on the track and you're boosting the whole way and they're not boosting the whole way,
you're gonna smack
there's
into
going to be a
something.
traffic jam.
I don't know how many cars. I think it takes about 15 to 20 seconds to go around the course.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
And it can take 190 people an hour.
Okay.
But it's the first time they've done this.
I'm not clever enough to do the maths on that.
No.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I know, like my parents went on a cruise recently and they had a water slide.
Yes.
Like that's a big thing at the moment, water
Yeah.
slides on them. Because my dad apparently went on it a lot. and a lot of kids were like, taking up turns that like small kids could have. My dad's like, nah, I'm a 60-year-old man, let's go.
If you pay for that cruise, you go on that slide.
Damn right.
Inclusive bonuses. I mean, this is cruising is a big market, and it's a growing market. I very briefly worked as a travel agent, and I learned all about how the cruise industry was like big bickies kind of thing. And as such, all these new boats that are coming out are looking for new ways to kind of like steal customers off other shipping companies. So they're always trying to like put new and exciting things on. So there's been things like skydiving, like on boats, which is those tubes where you can like float in them. Rock climbing walls have been a thing for a while. There's a go-karting track on one. All these kind of things. The one thing they want to do, but they haven't been able to do it yet because of weight reasons, it doesn't work, is a lazy river.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But there's too much sloshing around, I think, is the issue.
Have you ever been on a cruise?
No,
I have. I loved it. It was really relaxing, but I get horribly seasick.
This is my worry.
Did
you just go on a little cruise so that you knew that you got seasick? Or did you go all in big cruise?
No, we went all in. This was a family holiday we had in 2008.
Yeah.
And I was crook as a dog from the second I walked onto that ship until the second I walked off. We were on that cruise for 12 days.
Ooh. And yet you still had fun?
I had a ball because it was really good food.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, I was seasick. I didn't vomit at all.
Oh, okay. So you just felt
but I just felt woozy the entire time. The thing is, like, I don't know if you've ever, when you like walk up some stairs but you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
And then you go to step up one more, and you've missed a step. Like, and you have that real weightless feeling for half a second. Imagine that, like,
for 12 days.
Ooh. And then because you'll be walking, say, from the back to the front of the ship, and the ship is, going up and over waves. And so you'll take a step, but in that time, the ship might have dropped down a foot, and so you'll step down, and your whole body will go whoop.
You're selling this to me. You really are.
Apparently, I am told that... So part of the problem from them was that my dad was like, take these Quell tablets. They're motion sickness tablets. So I went, yep, great. But they weren't doing anything for me. My dad has since found out you need to start taking them like 3 days before you go on. Because my dad also gets horribly seasick.
Yep.
But he's now been on like 6 cruises and hasn't had a problem since.
Wow.
Amazing.
Apparently there's also injections you can get.
Cool.
Quite expensive, but apparently they're excellent.
Worth it. I mean, if you're getting a cruise, you might as well just get an injection.
Yeah.
We talked about roller coasters.
Yeah.
What's your favourite roller coaster?
I do love roller coasters a lot. Didn't used to.
No.
Was really, really anti roller coaster for a long time. Had a bad experience on the reptile roller coaster at Dreamworld back in the day.
Yep.
Then went to Disneyland. First time. Spent the whole day going like not going on a roller coaster. Finally sort of sucked it up and did. Loved roller coasters ever since.
Yep.
What was California Screamin' is probably
now the Incredicoaster.
The Incredicoaster at California Adventure in Disneyland.
Yep. That is an excellent roller coaster.
Yeah, that's probably up there as one of my favourites.
That one, also Big Thunder Mountain.
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
Big
actual
Thunder
Disneyland itself.
Yeah.
2 stories relating to Big Thunder Mountain in 2 different parks. First one was when the 3 of us went to Disneyland back in 2014.
Yep.
And we were on Big Thunder Mountain. It might have been the last day. And do you remember there was a small boy sitting in front of us?
Oh, bless
who
him.
was petrified. And at one point, as you go up, all these it's quite loud, and all these pretend explosions are going off. Yeah. And this kid was
hating
it, bawling his eyes out. And this probably just shows that I'm a bad person. But I reckon I laughed for a good hour afterwards.
Bless him, because he literally said a million times beforehand, like, I'm not keen for this. And his dad was like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah. No, they had been in the line in front of us, and the whole time he's like, no, I'll be fine. Yep, no, I don't want to do it, but I don't really want to do it. And Dad's like, no, you'll be fine, mate, you'll be fine. And then he got on, he was not fine.
He was the opposite of fine.
The second story is when we were in Disneyland Paris, you and I, Sean, and we went on Big Thunder Mountain, and it
had just reopened. It had just reopened after many, many years of it being closed and being refurbished.
Yeah. Now, excellent ride. There's a couple of bits that I wasn't expecting. Like, there's a really long bit in the dark that you just don't know when you're going to get to the end.
Because Big Thunder Mountain in Paris is on an island in the middle of where sort of like Adventure Island or whatever it is in Disneyland.
Yeah.
It's on this island in the middle of the rivers. So you have to get there underneath in a tunnel. So the roller coaster goes underneath.
So we've lined up for a good hour, maybe even longer.
It had just reopened, so everyone was queuing for
maybe
it.
an hour and a half, and we got right near the end, and we're going up a lift, and then all of a sudden the car just stops. And we're sitting there waiting, and then an announcement comes over going, the ride has... This can understand the French accent. The ride has closed. Bonjour! The ride has stopped. And then we're like, okay, it will open again in a moment. Okay, yep, great. So we're sitting there waiting, and we're waiting some more. And then it comes over and goes, yeah, you're all basically going to have to walk. And so, like, we were lucky in that we were right near the end.
It is the hill coming out of that tunnel again, and so it's quite steep. The angle is quite steep.
Yeah.
So even like we were sat there for like a good 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was
sitting
difficult to sit there.
At probably a 70-degree angle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not ideal.
And we'll sit there for about 10 minutes, and we're like, is that other car that's like 100% probably on that hill gonna like lose its brake? Because it would have smacked into us. And so, obviously didn't. But like, we were lucky in that we could just
Get off,
hop out and walk because we were right near the end.
Yeah.
There were people who would have been in the tunnels.
Through,
there were people who would have been halfway through who would have had to basically walk
They get
through
it really
the
cool
underground.
because like there's a lot of videos on YouTube of like, I got stopped on this ride, and this is like the evacuation path. And they'll like film the path of like going behind the scenes, and you see like sometimes like the animatronics in rides and all that kind of stuff, which is really cool. So
I like a roller coaster.
it was an interesting experience that we had, one of a kind. We got this like great selfie in front of the train,
Yeah.
which no one gets.
No.
Incredible.
Good times.
That is fun.
What should people do if they've maybe been stuck on a roller coaster?
Well, if you've been stuck on a roller coaster, or if you've got any good news at all, good news more than probably getting stuck on a roller coaster news. If you've got good news, we would love to read it. So drop us an email at goodforachangepodcast@gmail.com. It may even end up on the show, depending on how lazy we are with our research and how good your stories are. So keep a listen out.
And if you want to see anything that we have discussed in this week's episode, you can follow us on Instagram at Good for a Change podcast. And that's where we post all the pictures of the things I've shown everyone. And we have described
Lots of
poorly.
model railways.
Not the model railways.
And pictures of Rod Stewart.
Well, he loves them.
He loves them.
And do you know why he loves them?
Why?
Because they're good in his life.
Aww.
Sean,
Yeah.
what's good in your life?
What is great in my life? Oh,
No, not what's great.
Sorry,
I said
what
what's
was good?
good.
Oh, okay. Well, what was
I want the mediocre.
just the average things.
Yeah.
We got some badges for our upcoming performances of our show.
Yep.
It's one of these things that we discovered at last year's Edinburgh Fringe, that everyone sort of gives out badges at their shows.
It's a thing now.
And you collect them on your lanyards, and you get very envious of people's collections of badges, to the point where last year at Edinburgh Fringe we were picking shows based on whether we knew or not if they had badges at the end of the show.
Well, there you go.
And we were disappointed because one of them, they put out the wrong badges at the end of the show.
Had
and we didn't
badge incident.
had a badge incident.
A badge didn't.
A badge incident. So we decided we would make badges this year for our shows.
I have seen the badges. They look very
arrived
nice.
today. But what I really love about it is not only do we get these beautiful badges from this company, but they send us a little thank you badge. Like just a little like thank you for shopping with us kind of thing. It's it's a local Melbourne-based business.
Yep.
And they sent us a little thank you badge, and it's this like peace sign badge.
Lovely.
In really cool colours, and I really appreciate that. I just like that little extra mile of going out of your way and saying thank you in a way like that.
Excellent.
That's really nice, Sean.
Yeah.
Jarrod, what's good in your life?
What's good in my life? I've just come back from a lovely few days visiting my brother.
Oh yeah.
So my brother lives up in the country.
Mm-hmm.
He moved there maybe 18 months ago, and we sort of don't get to see a lot of him anymore because he's about 2 hours from us. But he invited me up, and so I had a lovely 3 days. We went swimming in the reservoir, which is beautiful.
Is it deep?
Yeah, fairly deep. But it gets deep real quickly. Like, at one point, you could only be maybe 10 meters from the edge.
Yeah.
And you're having to like we were just floating around on noodles and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're only 10 meters from the edge, but then you get literally maybe 5 meters from the edge, and you can stand up. So it gets real deep real quick.
Yeah, they don't call pool noodles in the UK.
What do they call them?
Woggles?
Woggles, yeah.
Woggles.
Great. And now you know that. Yeah, we
Now
had...
you said that, I feel like that's not the right word.
Okay, you look it up while I keep talking. We went and played golf.
Yeah.
Which was good fun. We play golf occasionally when he's down. So played golf. It started pouring with rain while we were playing. But we're like, let's just keep going. So we're in the soaking rain, just playing golf. We were the only people there.
Of course.
It was...
It is Woggle.
It is a woggle. Yeah, that was great. And then we, went to a couple of nice country pubs, had a couple of beers and ciders, and it was wonderful. Had a really lovely time. He's got a gorgeous little dog named Barry, who I think I've actually spoken about on this podcast before.
It rings a bell.
And we went and watched a movie, and he sat on my lap and did not move for 2 hours. Now, he's a big dog, so when I say sat on my lap, I mean, like, he really had to make an effort to get on there, and just fell asleep, curled up, fell asleep for 2 hours, and I could not move.
What a cutie.
That was wonderful. I had an absolute ball.
That's really nice.
But Holly, what is good in your life?
This is a controversial good in my life.
Oh, okay.
Went to see Cats the other day.
Ooh, okay.
And do you know what?
What?
It wasn't that weird.
Was it the new version?
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
No, didn't it still...
No, it still had Judi Dench's hands.
Okay. And people's feet going through the floor?
Yeah, it was, yeah. There were moments of it that were like, oh, this is odd.
Yeah.
But it is just cats.
This is an unfinished mega-budget film,
Yeah.
but anyway.
Yeah. No. I really enjoyed it, and I had a really fun time, and I enjoyed the songs, and I enjoyed the dancing, and I thought it was going to be a schlomozzle, and it really, truly was less of a schlomozzle than I thought.
I think what a lot of people had issues with was how they looked. Because they're weird, like, humanoid cats. Like, they're cats with human faces, but then, like, human figures and, like, have that sort of curves and stuff.
That was important. So, they could have done it just as, like, a cat CGI film. But one of the most important parts of the story visually is the dancing.
Okay.
And if it was cats, if it was literally, like, cats on paws...
Yeah.
You couldn't have done it. Like, there was some really beautiful choreography. There was some really lovely ballet in there. I really, Jason Derulo was fine. Taylor Swift was questionable. But it was just Cats.
I think this is where most people had the issue, was that Cats, as a musical, was seen by very many people and ran for a very long time. And it was weird. And Cats has always been weird. But if you saw it and you were a fan of it, you know that Cats is weird. You know that the plot is threadbare or whatever, and all these kind of things. And that weirdness attracts some people to see it, but then a lot of people sort of went like, not my cup of tea, not going to see Cats.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And that's fine when you're in a theatre where there's like 1,500 people, let's say, for however many years it ran. Now it's gone like, hey, we're going mainstream into main cinemas in front of huge audiences
with
around the world.
This star-studded cast.
Like, we want you to come and see this film because of how much, we've put into this kind of thing. But Cats is weird. And I think most people that were sort of, don't go to the theatre, go to see movies, came into this and were like, that was weird. And that's why I think it got...
It's like an in-joke that's funny between you and your friends, but then you tell someone the joke and they're like, I don't get it. And you're like, oh, you kind of had to be there.
Yeah.
That's what Cats is.
Which is a great pitch for a film.
Great. That's
great elevator pitch.
That's a great review.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I knew what I was getting myself into when I walked in there.
Yeah.
And I appreciated why they had to do things the way they did it. And some of it was like, ooh, not the best thing I've ever seen in my life. But I didn't walk out like I...
hating it like a lot of people
spoke
do.
to someone and she was like, I am a different person now that I've seen Cats.
Dun, 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 dun. That was me singing the outro bit.
Wow.
The interlude. Did you like it?
I thoroughly enjoyed
How
it.
many stars would you give it?
I would have given that 3 stars.
Oh, that's a shame because I only accept 5 stars.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, we're doing
Oh.
this again, are we? Oh, I thought we ditched that policy last week.
Oh, I'm doubling down.
Oh.
Yeah. So I will say this week, I guess, that I demand 5-star reviews.
That's fair enough.
And I'm not going to apologise for it. So I'll take 5 stars, and if you have 4 stars, the door's that way.
Well, I don't think we should exclude our listeners. Once again, we've talked about trains, and I feel like every time we talk about trains, we lose about 100 listens.
Yeah,
So-
but we did talk about Rod Stewart, and that'll bump up.
Oh, that's
Rod
true.
Stewart is cool as heck.
Great.
Bringing him back.
Great. You've just given Rod Stewart a 5-star review.
Hi guys, Rod Stewart's the best.
Perhaps if you know Rod Stewart, you'd like to share the podcast with him, because that's what I think you should all do. Don't feel pressured to give us 5 stars. If you feel like that's too much pressure, just tell one friend about our show. Just share it with them. And let
Only
them...
if that friend is Rod Stewart.
No, it benefits if it is Rod
Guys,
Stewart.
if anyone knows Rod Stewart and wants to send him to Melbourne, he can bring his trains. We've got room.
We got room, and he can be our guest.
Oh, I'm happy if someone shares with Rod Stewart or Tom Hanks or
Anna Kendrick.
Anna Kendrick's fine.
Probably
Jason
not Taylor
Derulo.
Swift. I've said some things about her Cats performance this week.
Yeah. But
Tom
that's fine.
Jones. Tom Jones will still be up for.
Tom Jones being on a podcast, that's not unusual. I'm going to leave that one there. Thank you very much, Holly.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sean.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Jarrod. You're welcome.
Until next time.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.